So 10 years ago, I lost my job, and it was in the middle of a recession where nobody was hiring for my particular line of work. In that recession, my position had pretty much become obsolete. So to make matters worse, we didn't have any other sources of income, and we didn't have any money in the savings at all. So literally, pretty much in a moment, we had become flat broke. Now, of course, right after that, the cars break down. And like I said, we didn't have any money, so there was no way for us to pay for repairs. And then shortly after that, the rent came due. And like I said, we didn't have any money, so our only option was to move out and then to go move in with family. And the family that was gracious enough to open up their doors and let us stay with them, well, like I said, we didn't have any money, so we had no way to financially say thank you, and we felt absolutely terrible. It was definitely one of the worst financial positions we've ever been in and one of the lowest points of our lives. So why am I sharing this with you today? Well, the reason is that in today's video, I want to share with you how it is that we went from being completely broke and in one of the worst places of our lives to just a few years later, implementing a few financial tips and tricks and strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. And if you stick with me, I'm going to let you know how it is we went from zero to literally saving over $100,000 in just a few short years. Now, if you can relate to this situation and maybe you're in it right now, first thing I want to do is encourage you and let you know that better days are ahead, and you're not going to stay here where you are right now. And hopefully this video helps you. Now, if you can relate to that and you've been blessed enough to not be in that position, congratulations. I am so happy for you. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, but hopefully you'll still be able to get some value out of today's video, and maybe you can use some of these tips and tricks and strategies to still further improve your financial situation. So you guys, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share this with you, and I hope that you'll be able to see how it is that we went from going from completely broke to saving over $100,000. Now, one of the very first things that's going to help you out to change your situation is to get clarity on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. What is your goal? Now, for me at that time, the main thing was pretty much I just needed a job, but I needed to gain clarity on specifically what it was that I wanted, because before that time, I had pretty much been applying for everything and anything that became available and was literally applying for jobs all over the world. And I had applied for literally hundreds of places, if not over 1,000. So what I finally did was I sat down and got some clarity, grabbed a paper and a pen and wrote out, I want a job as a landscape architect. That's what I went to school for, and that is the position I want. And I also wrote down, I want it in Sacramento, California. I want it in my hometown, not to be all over the place like I was doing before. So the first thing was gaining clarity on what it was that I wanted to accomplish. And I ended up doing this later with the $100,000 when I wrote down, I want to have $100,000. So I had gained clarity on what it was that I wanted, and then I decided, all right, let's hop online and find all of the jobs available for landscape architects on Sacramento. And there was literally none. There was nobody hiring. So I realized, okay, if I really want this, if I want to accomplish my goal, I'm gonna have to take a little bit more of an aggressive and creative approach to make it happen. So what I decided to do was I listed out all of the firms in Sacramento, California that hired landscape architects. I made my own personal list. And then I decided I'm gonna show up at these places 2 or 3 on the list a week. I'm gonna put on a suit and I'm gonna go visit them and just walk in the door, introduce myself, and request an informational interview about their firm for a position. And I went ahead and did it. And of course, nobody was hiring, but some places actually gave me informational interviews. And I thought that this was good because I'm getting in their mind. They're seeing, hey, this young guy, he's going the extra effort. He really wants a position. And if something comes up, maybe we'll hire him. So that was one of the things I did, but it didn't stop there, because once you do it one week, you got to keep doing it. And so I would go to more firms, but I didn't want the original ones to forget about me. So for the ones that I'd already visited, that following week, I would drop off bagels and donuts. I would go to the shop and buy, with the little money I had, some donuts, drop it off with a little handwritten thank you card saying, thank you for your time and consideration. Trying to just leave good impressions everywhere that I went. So the next thing is implementing a creative and aggressive strategy to accomplish your goal. And one of the things that I did for getting $100,000 was, of course, looking at budgets, looking at extra ways to make money. And another thing was to remind yourself of this every single day. So what I did was found this in the garage, This is something that I had done. I know it might sound a little silly, but it helped me remember what my goal was. I printed out a fake $100,000 bill and I put it in my wallet, and this was to help remind me that I had a goal of trying to get $100,000, and I was not gonna stop at my goal until I accomplished it, and until I did, this was gonna stay in my wallet as a reminder. Now, having a creative strategy and reminders to stick with it is really important, because depending on what your goal is, you might not necessarily know how long it's gonna take you. Now, for me, it literally took me a year before I finally landed a job, and I went through every single firm on my list, and then I started over again. Now, on that second round though, that very first firm that I revisited 1 year later, I walked in the door and I said I wanted an informational interview, and the woman at the front desk said, "Oh, are you here for the position that just opened up today?" And I said, "Why, yes, I am." And I got an interview that week and literally got hired the very next week, and I had accomplished my goal. Now, for the $100,000, we had to get a little bit of a more creative and aggressive strategy as well. So once I finally landed that job, I decided I need to figure out a way to get more money coming in, not just this one job. So I actually went out and I got a second job. I landed a part-time job tutoring high school students in math in the evenings. Then after that, I was able to actually land a third job as well. I got a part-time job teaching prisoners in prison at night architecture and engineering classes. And then after that, I had the weekends free, so I figured, you know what, I'm gonna go out to garage sales, and I started buying things that were very cheap and affordable, and at the same time, I was able to furnish my house because we literally had nothing, and I was able to take those items though, and I was able to resell a lot of them and start making money as well. So I had then created 4 different streams of income for us. Now, in addition to that, I figured not only do we have money coming in, but I needed to figure out ways to save this money and limit our expenses. Now, I did some things that were a little bit extreme. I wouldn't recommend them for everybody, but we cut out coffee, we didn't buy new clothes, we didn't buy new things, we didn't go out to eat, and there were some occasions where we were really low on money when we first started, and I didn't eat anything. I think the record was I actually went 10 days without eating. That's when you know you're really broke, but I wouldn't recommend that for people. Definitely want to make sure that you stay healthy while you're doing things, but we were willing to sacrifice to accomplish our goals and stay focused and have a creative and aggressive strategy to make it happen. And one of the things that you're going to want to do is set milestones, so that way it doesn't seem like it's just some massive, huge goal that you're trying to accomplish. The best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So in other words, break it up. Don't make it seem so overwhelming. Just take it one task or one item at a time and set some milestones. Say, okay, I'm going to hit 100,000, but the first goal is $10,000. And for me, that was mind-blowing. When I hit that $10,000, that's when my world changed, really, because that's when I knew that this was actually possible, that I could do this. So 10,000, then 25,000, then 50,000, until I finally hit $100,000. And then when I finally hit that goal, when I was hitting those milestones, we would have small celebrations. Maybe we would go out and we would buy a cup of coffee from Starbucks, or maybe we'd go out and have a small little dinner. This was back before we had kids, so just me and my wife to celebrate. But make sure that you reward yourself when you hit milestones with proportional, comparable to the milestone rewards. Nothing extreme that wipes out what you did, but something that's a small portion of it to help celebrate and hit as you hit those milestones. Now, in addition to that, make sure that you don't sabotage yourself. Make sure that you set aside the money somewhere else where you're not accessing it. So at that time, I think I probably only needed about $2,000 at a time, maybe to pay for rent or pay for items as we were making progress. All the rest of the money that I was saving, it was all going into a savings account. Now at that time, I didn't know about stocks or any of that other stuff. I didn't know anything about money. Didn't have a very good financial background, but I was just keeping it separate in a savings account, just having it sit there, and I would watch it grow and grow and grow as I finally reached my goal. Now here today, things are so much more different. It's crazy. It feels like that was a lifetime ago, but that was definitely my situation just 10 years ago. And now today, not sure if you saw the video that I uploaded a couple days ago, we literally have over 6 streams of income, many of them passive, that provide us with a lot more financially. We're in a much better place now. So if that is your situation where I was 10 years ago and you're in it right now, I just want to encourage you that stick with it. Things are going to get better. You can do it. I know you can. I believe in you. I know you can make it. So with that also too, if you're one of the people watching this and that's not your situation though, I hope that there's some valuable nuggets in here that you're able to take away that maybe you can implement to further improve your situation. But you guys, I hope this reaches you well. And once again, if you haven't already, don't forget, if you like this, smash the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at SteveRam3. Join the Patreon group if you want to get exclusive access to me and see any stocks or cryptocurrencies that I'm buying right now. And once again, you guys, I hope this reaches you well. Take care. God bless. Catch you in the next video. This is Steve.